Well, hello there, this is John. Hope you guys are doing well out there, and thanks for tuning in. Today I'm going to do a tour of my 1985, yes, 1985 Winnebago LeSharo motorhome. It used to be a diesel turbo powered vehicle, now it's 100% electric. So let's check it out. This is a customized 1985 Winnebago LeSharo motorhome. It has custom paint on it. It was originally a beige, your typical motorhome beige. Another piece of customization is this cover that covers the solar panel. And there we go, a 100-watt solar panel. And also on the inside of the cover I put a reflector so the sun can add more energy to that solar panel to create higher wattage. Just on the inside of the door here is the solar charge controller, you know, so as soon as this panel is exposed it's creating electricity that goes to this charge controller, then on through to the two batteries at the front of the two 12-volt batteries. Just above here I've put this inverter with a switch, so if we need power on the outside, we've got it here. There we go. Just a two-prong plug because it is an ungrounded circuit. That doesn't mean you can't use it, it just means that wherever you plug into it needs to be double insulated. Well, this vehicle is about 19.5 foot long, so you could park it in a regular parking space. It's such a great shape. When I first got this motorhome, it had a lot of furniture and that inside standard, but it was big, it was bulky, and I don't think it made a very good use of the space really. So I tore everything inside of here out and started from scratch, and this was the first thing I did, is build this cabinet here. And on the inside of the cabinet we've got our water tank, put that in, and at the bottom of the water tank is an immersion heater element. So that's 900 watts. That'll warm up, I will say, about 40 minutes to heat up maybe 5 gallons of water. It'll take a while, but it works. And next to it is our grey water tank that comes directly from the sink. There's also a junction box in there and also an inverter. And that's the front of it there, painted gold to match everything else. Got rid of the old faucets and sent away to AliExpress for this faucet setup. Not expensive, maybe $15 or something, very cheap. And also added a table, an extension here for your work surface. I built this back area, and this seat will turn into a bed, and it looks a lot like this. And that gives us plenty of space, you know, and it folds up real easy too, just like this. And these are on sliders. There's two sliders underneath there. This just pushes in like that. So once the bed is folded up, this is a nice little workspace, you know. Here we've got a fold out table. Just release that hook, just move this triangle, and there you go. We've got a work surface there. You can use the computer. And then if it's cold, luckily, not far from the bed, we've got the all-purpose wood stove. I put this device which sucks hot air down the tube there and blows it out on your feet. And that's just what you want. And then next to that, we've got a fan for when the weather's too hot. We've got a nice fan here that will keep you going. keep you nice and cool. That is a car radiator fan and it works really well. We're happy with that. Went through, put blinds in here, took all the old curtains, cloth blinds that were just filthy dirty and then put some paint on the walls and made it look much better. Was even able to reuse these existing light fixtures. They're nice, I like them. You know, a lot of people tear them out straight away, but I think they're alright. Figured out the wiring, got all these lights to work, which is a great plus. We're sitting in the dark there. On the ceiling here we've got an illusion light, because you can see that it's only about what, an inch tall, yeah. But when you turn it on, see, it looks real deep there. Now it's getting, the light's not so strong outside. There you go. There's a very small seating area here, and underneath the seat we've got 4 12-volt batteries, and they power the electric motor at the front of the motorhome in conjunction with the other batteries that are under this cover. I just thought I'd show you this. And inside this box here is another 4 batteries, giving us a total of 8 batteries. These batteries, how they're used is controlled inside here. There's a switch and you can select this bank of batteries or the bank of batteries under there, or you can select both banks of batteries. So I would say we're about 4 batteries short of having enough power, and that'll happen in the future. And there's a quick release latch here just to get rid of that, but that's nice, man. Spring latch. We've got switches here. One is to turn the solar panels on the roof that are controlled by this solar controller here. We've got 72 volts coming in. It goes down to that switch here. When you throw the switch, it's a 3-way switch, so it charges this set of batteries, or you throw the switch the other way and it charges this set of batteries. And then this here is a DC to DC controller, which takes, what is it, something like, is it 72 volts, and turns it down into 12 volts. And I'll just put that in, and it's the wires are here. We've just got to put an outlet there. Inside of here is the motor control center for the motor that drives the motorhome. I built this a few years ago. There's a big heat sink in the back to absorb any extra heat. There's a motor controller there. Down here is a contactor. There are bus bars, and there are also 2 300 amp fuses just to protect the system. When you're dealing with this kind of power, you want to make sure everything is safe. I kept the cupboards here, the old cupboards, they work well. They're just you know, on a slider type thing, so nothing too much to go wrong with them. Kept the cupboards here, kept these cupboards here, and the cupboards that were where the wood stove is, I took them down and I remounted them here. And in the back of the cupboard is we've got the stereo speaker, so we get good sound, which is of course of paramount importance. Still working in this area, but what is down here is a shower tray. So you can take a shower in the van, and I've got this, and this corrugated plastic here can be used to stop water splashing. When the shower curtain is set inside of this perimeter, stops all the water splashing out and getting on the carpet. The last thing you want is a wet carpet. And then when you're done, just fold it all up and put it back on the wall. There you go, put it back on the wall and everything is as it was. I've still got some wires hanging out here. I'm thinking about putting light fixtures on, but I haven't picked out any light fixtures yet. The ceiling is covered with tiles that I was going to use on the walls, but decided not to because of the state of these things. But if you want your inside of your motorhome to look like a space shuttle, these tiles are just the job. Installed a rear view camera, which works really good. Installed a rear view camera here, which doesn't hardly work ever. But you can never have too many rear view cameras, can you? And this is the dashboard. Looks pretty nice. I just put a coating of dashboard oil on it. The fun things about having this vehicle. And that is the motor control unit that helps control the electric motor that drives the vehicle. And back there I changed these out into volts and amps rather than what would be there, fuel. I took the fuel meters and turned them into volt meters and amp meters. I love the aerodynamic front. Look at that, just cuts through the air once it's travelling. Looks really, really good. The mirrors even are real good design there. The tyres are only 14 inches. A 14-inch tyre, so it ain't going to cost you much to replace them, that's for sure. When you're out travelling on the road, you still need to get your mail. So I thought it would be a good idea to put a mailbox on the side here. The mailman can just put your letters in there and then you're off, no problem. And as you may have seen in my other video, I turned this fuel door into a charging port. So there's a receptacle on the inside of the motorhome. You just plug an extension cord from the house or whatever into there, then you have 120 volts inside the motorhome, should you need it. Because this motorhome is run by electricity, this grill here allows all the nice cool air to cool down the motor once it gets hot or heated up a little bit. Now looking under the hood, going left or right, there's a 12-volt house battery here. There's a 12-volt house battery there. They're both connected in parallel, so they're both getting charged at the same time from that solar panel on the side of the vehicle. This must be a windshield washer. We haven't used that yet. And down here is the vehicle transmission. Attached to the transmission is a 48-volt electric forklift motor. It's all attached, lined up. I put a clutch in it, clutch plates and all that kind of stuff, and it worked. Here we have a brake booster. This is a brake booster motor that boosts your brakes. Very loud, I can't believe it. I'm sure there's quieter ones on the market. And down there just like ancillary brackets for mounting this motor. You know, that's quite a weight here. We've got 8 kilowatts at 48 volts, but I know it goes much higher than 8 kilowatts. Came out of a forklift motor. I had to take it out myself from a forklift. That was fun, but you get to know your apparatus more when you've got when your hands on. That's a fact. Here we've got the brake fluid reservoir, and we've got a brake master cylinder there that I had to send off to Europe for because the other one was destroyed. Still not working perfectly, but continue working on the brakes, which I have done. We'll get this even better than it was. The computer was missing when I got this vehicle, so I bypassed all that. No problem, don't need it. It was mainly for the running of the diesel engine. Can you believe that? Because, as you can see, it was a turbo. I don't know if you can make that out. It was a turbo diesel. Still gutless. On the inside of the hood lid we have a large wheel brace here to remove your wheels, so that's handy. Also came with the jack as well, which is even more handier. When I first got this motorhome, the plan was to use an AC motor to drive this vehicle. However, I got all the parts, but I could not get this DC motor on a pulley to turn an AC alternator and create enough speed in the alternator to produce 480 volts, which is where I was trying to get. So that became an exercise in futility. Plus, I was carrying so much weight with the, in the back of the motorhome was a DC motor, a heavy DC motor driving a heavy DC generator, controlled by a AC motor controller. It was like a hell of a lot of weight, and all the springs was trying to get low. So I abandoned that idea and just thought, well, use the DC motor to turn the motorhome into a running vehicle. So I did that, tested it out. It's worked fine so far, and that's what that's about. You know, just let you know that, hey, you're not always right and you don't always make the right decisions. That's part of learning, I guess. And yeah. Well, I hope you enjoyed that tour as much as I did giving you it. This is a fun project and I love this vehicle. I don't know if you know this, but the front end, the actual cabin, that is French. It's made by a company called Renault. It was a Renault Traffic, I believe, and then a company called Winnebago added the back end on. So this was just like a runabout van or a runabout pickup truck in France, and Winnebago brought a load of them over and put a nice back on it. Good design. Also, there are 2 solar panels on the roof.